You won't believe the weird lottery strategies that actually worked. But how exactly did these unconventional methods beat the odds? Let's dive in and find out. Number 10. Selecting the right games. Selecting the right games is a strategy that flips the lottery playbook. It's not about chasing those headline-making Mega Million jackpots. It's smarter than that. This method plays it cool by targeting smaller, local lotteries. Why? It's all about the odds. National lotteries like Powerball have millions of players, which drastically lowers your chance of winning. But with local lotteries, you're up against fewer people, which means your odds of winning shoot up. Think about it. These local games might not offer the multi-million-dollar prizes, but they do offer something better, a realistic shot at winning. It's like comparing a packed stadium to a cozy cafe. The chances of being noticed in the cafe are far higher. This strategy takes you off the beaten path of lottery playing. It's like choosing a less crowded road with a more certain destination. And let's talk numbers. The smaller games might have prizes in the thousands or hundreds of thousands, but winning these feels more within reach. You're not just throwing your money into a bottomless pit of nearly impossible odds. You're making each ticket count, each play matter. It's about making the smart move, not the big splash. This approach changes how you view the lottery. It's not just a game of luck, but of strategy. The next time you're thinking about buying a ticket, remember this. In the lottery world, sometimes the smaller stages offer the biggest opportunities. It's not about the size of the prize, but the likelihood of actually winning it. But that's not the only strategy. The next strategy focuses on how you play rather than where. Number 9. Key digit wheel system. The key digit wheel system is a clever twist in the lottery playbook. It's like having a secret code that threads through all your number combinations. Here's how it works. You pick a series of numbers for your lottery game. But there's a catch. One digit, the key digit, is a constant in every combination. Imagine you choose 9 numbers. Instead of juggling countless possible mixes, you center them around this one key number. It's like planting a flag in the ground and saying, "This is my spot." But, as with any strategy, there's a flip side. If your key digit is drawn, you're in luck, with a chance to win across several combinations. However, if it's missing from the winning numbers, your chances sink. This method adds a layer of strategy to the randomness of the lottery. It's not just about scattering shots in the dark. It's about placing a calculated bet on a number you believe in. Think of it as a game within a game. You're not just blindly hoping for the best. You're actively shaping your fate with each ticket. This strategy is a nod to the classic balancing act of risk versus reward. You're hedging your bets on one number with the hope that it turns out to be the golden ticket. So, while the key digit wheel system brings a strategic edge to your lottery game, it's still filled with the thrill of chance and the unpredictability of luck. But our journey through lottery strategies doesn't end here. At number 8, we have pick systems. In the world of lottery strategies, the pick systems method stands out for its structured approach to number selection. This strategy revolves around choosing a specific set of numbers, whether it be 3, 4, or 5, and sticking with them. The key here is not just picking numbers at random, but doing a bit of homework. It involves analyzing past lottery draws, looking for patterns, and identifying numbers that seem to come up more frequently. For example, in a pick 3 system, you would select 3 numbers that have a history of being drawn together. This strategy isn't about leaving it all to chance. It's about making educated guesses based on available data. The beauty of the pick systems lies in its flexibility and adaptability. As you move from pick 3 to pick 4 or pick 5, the complexity increases, but so does the potential for winning combinations. It's a balancing act between expanding your opportunities to win and not getting overwhelmed by too many number combinations. This approach requires a bit more effort and analysis, but can lead to a more disciplined and strategic way of playing the lottery. While this strategy adds a layer of methodical planning to your lottery play, it still retains an element of chance. After all, the lottery is inherently unpredictable. The pick system strategy is just one way to try and bring some order to the randomness of the draw. By narrowing down your choices and focusing on a smaller set of numbers, you might just increase your chances of hitting those winning digits. As we move on from the calculated choices of the pick systems, our next strategy takes us into a different aspect of number selection. At 7, avoid consecutive numbers. Avoiding consecutive numbers in lottery selections isn't just about dodging patterns. It's a strategic move based on statistics and probability. This method steers clear of sequential numbers like 21, 22, 23, and opts for a diverse spread. Historically, winning lottery numbers tend to be a mix, not a string of numbers that follow each other. By choosing non-consecutive numbers, you essentially spread your bets across a broader numerical range, increasing the likelihood of hitting a winning combination. The idea here is variety. When you pick numbers that are not next to each other, you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. For instance, a combination of 7, 14, 21 might seem appealing, but it limits your chances as it sticks to a particular pattern. On the other hand, a mix like 7, 20, 33 opens up more possibilities. This approach doesn't guarantee a win. No strategy does, but it aligns with patterns observed in lottery draws over time. The next strategy is a really interesting one, shifting the focus from number selection to the timing and manner of playing. Number 6. Analyzing past lottery draws. Analyzing past lottery draws as a strategy takes a deep investigative approach into the history of lottery results. It's like being a detective where past lottery numbers are clues to potentially unraveling future outcomes. This method isn't about random guessing. It's about informed decision-making based on patterns observed from previous draws. Here's how it works. Players examine a range of past lottery results, focusing on numbers that frequently appear, known as hot numbers, and those that haven't shown up for a while. Such numbers are known as cold numbers. The belief is that the hot numbers might continue their streak, while cold numbers are due for a comeback. But there's more to it than just hot and cold numbers. This strategy also involves understanding overdue numbers, those that haven't appeared for an unusually long time. The idea here is that every number has an equal chance of being drawn. So if a number hasn't appeared in a while, it might just be its time to shine. This method requires sifting through lots of data, identifying potential patterns, and applying a bit of probability theory. It's a mix of statistical analysis, trend spotting, and a hint of luck. Players also look at number frequencies, how often each number has been drawn over a specific period. This analysis can reveal trends or biases in the draw process, although each draw is supposed to be random. Some players combine this strategy with other methods, like number wheeling, or playing unusual number combinations to enhance their odds. Analyzing past lottery draws is about finding a method in the madness, trying to bring some logic and prediction to a game largely based on chance. This approach isn't foolproof, but it offers a structured way to select numbers, adding an element of strategy to the lottery. The next strategy offers another interesting angle to enhance your lottery game plan. Number 5 being odds and evens strategy. The odds and evens strategy in lottery play is about creating a balanced mix of odd and even numbers on your ticket. This approach stems from the observation that most winning lottery draws tend to have a combination of both odd and even numbers. Instead of favoring one over the other or selecting numbers randomly, this strategy encourages players to consciously pick an even mix. The idea is that by mirroring the common pattern of winning draws, you increase your chances of hitting the right combination. This method is more than just randomly scattering numbers across your ticket. It's about carefully crafting a selection that represents a typical winning draw. The technique doesn't guarantee a win. No strategy does, but it's about playing the odds in a smarter way. By aligning your selections with the patterns observed in draw histories, you're making an informed guess rather than leaving it all to chance. Applying the odds and even strategy requires a bit of analysis. You might start by looking at past lottery results to see how often draws are evenly split between odd and even numbers, mostly odd, or mostly even. This can give you a sense of how to balance your own selections. The goal is to create a ticket that feels like a slice of the typical winning draw, enhancing your chances of aligning with those winning numbers. Remember, the lottery is a game of chance, and no strategy can change that. But what the odds and even strategy offers is a way to play that chance with a bit more method. It's about taking the randomness of the lottery and introducing a layer of strategy to your play. But it doesn't end there. Number 4, lottery ticket purchase timing. The lottery ticket purchase timing strategy is based on the hypothesis that the timing of buying lottery tickets can influence your chances of winning. This strategy suggests that instead of purchasing all your tickets in one go, spreading out your purchases over different times may align better with the random nature of lottery draws. The logic behind this approach is that lottery outcomes are unpredictable, and diversifying the timing of ticket purchases might mirror this randomness, potentially increasing the chances of a win. This approach is nuanced, requiring a player to be methodical and patient, planning their purchases carefully. It also considers the unpredictable nature of lottery draws, proposing that aligning your purchase strategy with its randomness could be advantageous. The idea is not to put all your eggs in one basket, or in this case, not to buy all your tickets at once, but to spread your chances across different draws. This method also adds an element of excitement and anticipation to the lottery experience, as players engage with the game over a longer period rather than focusing all their hopes on a single draw. Additionally, this strategy can help manage the budget for lottery spending, as it prevents the impulse to buy a large number of tickets at once, thereby potentially reducing the risk of overspending. While the efficacy of the strategy is up for debate, As with most lottery strategies, it does offer an interesting perspective on playing the lottery. It moves away from the traditional focus on what numbers to pick, and instead puts the emphasis on when to play those numbers. This unique approach to lottery strategy suggests that even small adjustments in how you play the game can potentially make a big difference in the outcome. It's a reminder that sometimes the most effective strategies in games of chance lie in the details and subtleties of how you participate. As intriguing as this strategy is, our next approach shifts gears again, offering a fresh new angle on playing the lottery. Big number 3. Using the same lucky numbers. The strategy of consistently using the same lucky numbers in lottery draws is based on the belief in personal luck rather than statistical advantage. This approach sees players selecting numbers that hold personal significance, such as dates of birth, anniversaries, or memorable numbers, and using them in lottery draws. The idea is that these special numbers might be luckier than randomly chosen ones. While each number technically has an equal chance of being drawn, this method adds a personal touch to the lottery, making it more emotionally engaging for the player. The rationale behind this strategy is rooted more in hope and sentiment than in mathematical probability. It's a reflection of the human tendency to find patterns and meanings in randomness, a psychological aspect that makes this approach appealing to many players. The commitment to a specific set of numbers over time creates a narrative, a story of loyalty to these numbers, which players hope will eventually pay off. This emotional connection to those chosen numbers adds a personal dimension to the lottery, transforming it from a mere game of chance to a more meaningful experience. This method's effectiveness is subjective and varies from player to player. While there's no statistical evidence to suggest that using the same numbers improves winning chances, the emotional satisfaction and ritualistic aspect it brings to the game cannot be discounted. For many, this adds an extra layer of excitement and personal connection to the lottery experience. While this strategy relies on personal beliefs and rituals, our next approach takes a turn towards a more analytical aspect of lottery playing. Number 2. Buying more tickets. The strategy of buying more lottery tickets is based on a simple probability principle. The more tickets you have, the higher your chances of winning. This approach seems straightforward, but it requires a delicate balance between optimism and practical financial management. When you buy more tickets, you're essentially increasing your stake in the game. It's like casting a wider net in the sea, hoping to catch more fish. However, it's crucial to remember that the lottery is still a game of chance, and the odds of winning big remain quite slim, even with multiple tickets. This method is not about reckless gambling, but about calculated risk-taking. It's important to set a budget and stick to it, ensuring that you only spend what you can afford to lose. The allure of a big win can be enticing, but it should never come at the cost of financial stability. Buying more tickets is a physical manifestation of hope and aspiration, a tangible way to increase your chances. This method represents a direct and quantifiable way of enhancing one's chances in the lottery, relying on the simple mathematics of probability rather than the complex prediction systems. Yet, it's also a strategy that must be tempered with a clear understanding of the odds and a commitment to responsible gaming. However, our next strategy is even more intriguing. The singularity number 1. Playing unpopular lottery games. Playing unpopular lottery games as a strategy centers on the idea of participating in lotteries that don't attract a massive crowd. These less popular games, often overshadowed by the fame of big jackpot lotteries, offer significantly better odds of winning due to fewer players competing. This approach is like choosing a path less traveled, where the chances of encountering a win are higher, even though the prizes might be smaller. This strategy hinges on the basic principle of probability. In a lottery with a smaller player base, each ticket has a statistically higher chance of winning. While the prize pots in these games might not make headlines, the improved odds can be appealing, especially for regular lottery players. It's a trade-off between the remote possibility of winning a colossal jackpot and the more realistic chance of winning smaller but still substantial prizes. For many players, this method offers a more balanced and potentially rewarding approach to lottery gaming. It's not about the glamour of Mega Millions, but about the practicality of securing a win. Playing less popular games also involves a lower investment risk, making it a suitable strategy for those who prefer a cautious approach to gambling. Additionally, this strategy can be more satisfying for players who enjoy the thrill of winning, regardless of the prize size. It shifts the focus from chasing improbable jackpots to achieving more frequent, albeit smaller, victories. This approach also encourages players to explore different lottery systems and games, broadening their gaming experience. Ultimately, it can lead to a more sustainable and enjoyable lottery experience, where success is measured not just in prize size, but in the frequency and enjoyment of play. This strategy is also about exploration and diversity in playing choices. It encourages players to look beyond the mainstream and discover opportunities in games that might be less known, but could be more lucrative in terms of winning odds. It's an approach that values consistency and strategy over a one-time windfall, aligning with the preferences of players who enjoy the process as much as the potential prize. Playing less popular lottery games is a strategic choice that weighs improved odds against smaller prizes. It represents a thoughtful approach to lottery gaming, prioritizing better chances of winning over the allure of enormous jackpots. Remember, no strategy can guarantee a win in lottery. It's a game of chance at its core, but understanding and applying these strategies can make the game more interesting and potentially more rewarding. We've journeyed through some of the most unconventional lottery strategies that surprisingly work, shedding light on the different ways people have tried to beat the odds. But the world of lotteries has way more twists and turns to offer. Don't miss our next video where we dive into the dramatic stories of lottery winners who hit the jackpot only to lose it all.